Hi guys, what's up? Welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for watching and welcome to my dating rant. And today I'm gonna continue bitching about boys of LA and how dating sucks during the pandemic and how I'm over it. So I have not given up on dating. I believe my Prince Charming is somewhere out there and I just have to go through a bunch of dates until I'll be able to find that one person that I can get along with and we can actually have something substantial with. But until I find that person, you know, you just have to like sort through trash of Los Angeles until you find somebody that's worthy of my time. So I've been on a couple of dates since my last update, and my most recent one was this morning. And don't judge me and don't call me a gold digger, but I'm still old-fashioned believing that if you're gonna go out with a girl on a date, that you as a dude should pay for the date. And I'm not expensive at all. Like, I'm not saying let's go to a sushi, let's like go to like a 5-star restaurant, let's go to Disneyland. Like, I'm not saying all of that. Like, most of my dates are like, oh, let's go to a coffee shop. Like, maybe you'll like spend like $5 on me, maybe like at most 10 if I want a burrito. Like, you know, it's not like I'm not expensive at all. So today, this morning, I had a date with a guy who lived in Santa Monica, and let's call this my date SpongeBob. So SpongeBob he's pretty cool. He's like 6'3", he's my height, he's fit, he's built, but he doesn't necessarily have the kind of personality that I'm looking for. And I'm usually into like really bubbly guys who are like super outgoing, who have a lot of like sass, and they're like really spicy, and like, you know, like we can banter back and forth, and that guy is definitely not it. So like when I throw shade at a guy, I expect to hear some shade back. Like, I expect to see something back, and if I don't hear it and I'm the only one who throws shade and he's just taking it, I'm like, what is wrong with you? Like, are you really just gonna accept it? So this guy and I, we went on a hike together. We went to Terranea Resort and it was nice. At first we were trying to go to a different hike, and we actually didn't have parking. We couldn't find a parking spot, so we changed our hiking spot to Terranea Resort. And Terranea is not really a hiking place. It's kind of just like a nice, really chill walk that you can go on. It's not really strenuous, and it was nice. And after that, like, the dude was smart enough to at least figure out, I was like, hey, I haven't had breakfast yet, would you want to go get some food together? And like, this is like when the lights and fireworks are going off in my brain. Is like, oh my god, this guy finally figured it out. We can actually like at least go get coffee together, go get some food together. Like, I got excited. I was like, oh yes, I know the perfect spot. So there in PV, in Palos Verdes, there's this really cool spot called Yellow Vase Cafe, and it's really nice because it has a very cutesy interior inside, and you can actually see the ocean from this cafe. So if you're ever there, shout out to Masha, because that's a really cool date spot, and it's just adorable. It's like a cute little cafe, and it's pretty affordable. Like, the most expensive thing on the menu is like $15. And here's the thing, the joke, that this is it. The guy and I are in line together, and I'm looking at the menu, he's looking at the menu. It's finally our turn to order, and before that he asked me, he's like, hey, what do you want to order? And I'm telling him, he's like, oh, I was thinking about this croissant, it's $10. And he's like, oh sweet, I'm probably gonna get that too. So it's finally our turn to order, and it's one of those places where you order with the hostess and then they bring out the food to you after you pay for it. So he goes in front of me, and he looks at me, is like, hey, do you want me to pay for you? And you know, me being the girl is like, oh, you don't have to, but looking at him with like my puppy eyes. And you know what he said? He was like, bet, all right. And he paid for his food so fast, and he walked away, full on walked away. and sat down at the table. And I'm thinking to myself, like, this dude actually just did that. Like, I'm not playing games with me. You're just like, oh, I'll pay for myself, like giving puppy eyes, and this guy is like, oh yeah, go ahead. And I'm thinking to myself, like, if you're gonna make a girl pay for you on a first date, like, she's not gonna think of you as a date. Like, that's really automatically in my mind is like, if I'm not worth $10 to you, and mind you, is like, I'm not dating guys who are in college anymore. Like, I'm dating guys who have jobs. He works at a job, he has a salary, he's a single bachelor, like he doesn't even have any pets. Like, his only expenses are pretty much for paying for his rent, his gym, and going out. Like, this dude, homeboy, can afford $10. He can afford it. So he doesn't get it for me. So he leaves, and I'm looking at this, at the lady, and her and I kind of have an awkward moment together. And she's like, so what do you want? Because she realized, like, we came on a date together. And I'm looking at her, it's like, you know, I'm just gonna get a latte, because lattes are like pretty, it's like $3-4. And that croissant right there. So my total bill was about $7.66, and I left $1 tip, so it was like $8.66. Fine, whatever. So I'm thinking about this date overall, and I'm not gonna see him again. And here's why: because if I go out and I actually relatively like a person, I almost expect for them to want to pay for me so that they can see me again. Because I feel like for guys, your first couple of dates are really important, and like that's when you set a standard, and like later on in the relationship, the girl can actually start paying for herself. Like, I take care of my guys. Like, I can go buy them a steak dinner. Like, I have the financial means to pay for myself. Like, it's not a big deal. But what kind of a precedent are you trying to set if you're not wanting to pay for the girl? So that was my date today. Let me tell you about my date on Friday. So it's Sunday. Okay, let me tell you about my Friday date. So on Friday, I had a date with a guy, and we were supposed to meet at Hermosa Beach. And we did. He showed up. He's like, all right, he's cool. And we were talking, we were vibing, and then I'm saying like, oh, let's go to this cafe, we can get some tea or something. And usually people order something. Like, the amount of business that I brought to this cafe is like insane with like all the dates that I've had. And this guy is like, no, I think I'll just go get water, like a cup of water. And I'm there like looking like an idiot. I came to the cafe, and my date doesn't only wants to get water. And I'm like, even if you don't like coffee, you can get tea. And even if you don't like coffee and tea, you can at least get a pastry. Like, don't just get water. That's too sad. That's not a date. That is like friends hanging out. So I ended up getting myself a green tea latte for myself, by myself, with my own money. And I'm sitting there and I'm listening to this guy, and he's talking, and I'm realizing pretty much 20 minutes into this date that I don't want to be here. And it's a very unique feeling that it's like, I don't want to be here. I don't know this guy anything. He hasn't even bought me food, so why should I even be here? Why do I even need to be here? Like, I don't owe him anything. He literally, we just met. So I'm looking at him and I'm telling him like, this is not working out. I can't do this. I'm sorry. And 20 minutes into my date, I got up and I left. So this was dating in LA. One day I'll find somebody for me. But right now, I have a cat. Right now, I have a cat. His name is Fluffy. And he is the best boyfriend there is. And I'll love him forever. And as a man, he'll be with me till he dies, pretty much. Thanks for listening to my rant. Let's hope one day Masha will be able to find her Prince Charming. Yeah. All right.